Isn't it nice to just be able to do something at a whim? Just have an idea, act on it, and go for it, and just do it no matter what the consequences might be. Well, that's what I've done this morning. I am Andrew St Pierre White, explorer, overlander and broadcaster with over 40 years driving 4x4s. Welcome to 4X Overland.
The best part about this whole thing for me, and I think for four-wheel drive enthusiasts everywhere, is that the rumours that the 70 series was going to be discontinued have ended. And I think the music behind me now is very appropriate. It is, of course, Stairway to Heaven. Yes, cheesy, it is. All right. I've just ordered a new troop carrier with a 2.8 engine with the automatic gearbox. And a lot of you who follow me will be asking, why on earth have you done that? Why on earth would you swap a V8 for a 2.8 4-cylinder? And that's a very, very good question. I think curiosity is my most important motivator at this moment, in that I love building these troop carriers. I get such a kick out of it. And my current grey troop carrier is wonderful. Do I think I could make it better? Maybe. So here's the danger, and here's the risk in my hands at the moment, is that the new one doesn't perform as well, and I don't like it as much as the V8. I'm going for an automatic gearbox, which I know I will prefer. And those of you who are die-hard V8 people are not going to understand me. Those of you who are die-hard manual gearbox people are also not going to understand me. But listen to this. This will be my 18th four-wheel drive that I have owned. Of those that I've owned, 2 have been automatics. They were both my Mercedes Geländewagen 290 GDs. They had an auto box, and this, I'm talking about the early 2000s. The auto box that the vehicle came with was remarkable in that it had a lock-up function. Now that's not remarkable in these days, to be able to lock up when driving off-road. You could do that with those gearboxes. Every other auto box at the time that I had driven, I hated the auto box. It demanded left foot braking all of the time to drive over uneven ground, slow moving uneven ground in low range. But the Geländewagen, you didn't need to do that. I still did some left foot braking, but it was so easy to drive, and particularly down steep slopes, the lock-up system worked so well. It was almost not as good as a manual, but almost as good as a manual. If you are on a track, a long track, twisty track, where you're doing 40, 50, 60, 100 and more gear changes per day in a manual, believe me, an auto is absolutely wonderful. And these auto boxes fitted into these vehicles are fantastic for off-road driving. So I like the idea more than anything else of that auto box in a troop carrier. Because of the kind of driving I do, auto makes a lot of sense. There are disadvantages with an auto. You can't pull start it in the case of a flat battery. When was the last time I needed to pull start my vehicle because of a flat battery? I can't remember when it last happened. How many years ago was it? I have no idea. Did it ever happen? Probably my Range Rover, which I sold in 1990. So is that a big? No, it's not a big thing. It's not actually something that I need to put on the list. The 4-cylinder 2.8 actually on paper performs better than the V8. Now, it performs better than the V8 in the V8's standard form. I get it. Those of you who have watched the building of my troop carrier will know that mine is not standard. It's tweaked with some upgrades, which is now giving me. It's fantastic. Getting past a road train, I have to throttle back to stop it accelerating even if I'm fully laden. And it gets to speed so quickly. It's wonderful. Is the 4-cylinder ever going to be that good? I doubt it, but I've had to modify my standard V8 to get to that kind of performance. The same is likely with the 4-cylinder. I would have to tweak it to get to similar performance. What I'm saying is performance, that it's not a performance degrade of any measure, I don't think. I couldn't care less about the sound of the V8. I know a lot of V8 owners, it's very important, that sound. To me, it's not. I'm just not interested in that. Yeah, I like the sound. Honestly, it's just not. And the fact that I can now take a troop carrier and do something different with it. What will I do with it? I don't know at this point. Absolutely no. All I know is that I've just ordered mine in sandy taupe because I've owned a blue one, I've owned a white one, and I'm now going for the third color. While at the dealership, I was given a list of details about the new Landcruiser. Some pretty exciting, quite a bit of hype, and one or two things that are really quite comical. The V8 will only be available with the manual gearbox. The 6-speed automatic transmission, supplied with the 2.8 turbo diesel, the one that I've ordered, will still have part-time four-wheel drive. The configuration of the transfer gearbox and the axles is exactly the same. The width issue we have with the back axle, the same, no difference at all. They've upgraded the entertainment system. They now call it an information system, not just an entertainment system, for obvious reasons. And it has wired Apple CarPlay. This is a significant upgrade. And when I say wired, I know that wired is actually better than Bluetooth, more reliable. And because it's actually got proper CarPlay, that's a very, very good news. I'm an Apple user because every time a simulator on an Android device is trying to simulate Apple CarPlay, they never work well. So that is very, very good news. Realistically, what am I going to get out of it? Fuel consumption. And if I think about, I've just finished a solo trip, and the videos will be released very, very soon. You can actually go onto my video on demand page. There's a link in the description right now, and download that 6-part series. That's available now, and I will start releasing those videos to my Patreons next week and to the public the week after. And I was measuring my fuel consumption like I normally do. And I was thinking, on the open road, this 2.8 is going to be more economical. That I am sure of, and I wouldn't be surprised if I get an extra 100 kilometers per tank. So the standard tanks remain the same with the new version, and I'll have my 290s in the troop carrier instead of giving me. I always count on about approximately 600 kilometers per tank mixed. I will probably now get 700 kilometers per tank. That is very, very possible with the new vehicle, and that, of course, is very, very exciting. That's a significant upgrade for me. The part about this that is, I'll try not to laugh at this. They have discontinued a few things, and one of the things they've discontinued is the antenna. This might sound like good news. So those of you who know the 70 series, it has an electric antenna. You click it and it goes up, and you click it and it comes down, and you do that from the cab. They've omitted that. But as far as I know, they've replaced it with, I mean, let's face it, that technology is from the 70s. Yeah, it was probably first introduced in 1976. Okay, they've replaced it with technology that was first introduced in 1954. It's a piece of wire that you pull out of the dashboard. What is strange, you've invested so much money, but you couldn't take an antenna that you build in the 1 million+ cars you build every single month. You couldn't take one of their antenna systems and put it in a 70 series? Is it because there's a hole and you had to fill the hole with something in the hole in the bodywork? but you've reshaped the wings. So just remove the hole. I don't understand it, but I find it a bit comical. Because honestly, when people who are not familiar with the 70 series see the 70 series and they see that antenna, the 1976 version of it, they laugh in derision. What are they going to do now? I will be accused of being a Toyota fanboy. I deny part of that statement. I couldn't care less about Toyota, honestly. Toyota is a huge multinational corporation, and I don't warm to any multinational corporation. What I warm to are individual products. I'm an Apple user since 1985. How much money have I given the Apple Corporation? I couldn't care less about that. A corporation hasn't got my interests at heart. It's got their shareholders' interests at heart. Why should I care about it? I was in love with some of their products. I'm no longer in love with any of their products. I like them and use them, and they're functional machines. Toyota is a little different though. I am in love and am a fanboy. Not a ridiculous fanboy though. I come back on that. I'm not a ridiculous fanboy. Okay, I am a fanboy of troop carriers because I love them. Why do I love them? I love them for what they are and what they give me. It doesn't mean I love my children. I love my children. They're not perfect. The Troopy is far from perfect. My children are far closer to perfection than a troop carrier. But you can take a troop carrier from the dealership and damn near make the perfect Overlander in my eyes. And I've done it with this one, my V8. I've just come back from a trip and I'm standing looking at it after it had served me so well on the trip, done so well. And it gives me a warm fuzzy whenever I see one passing in the traffic. Downhill assist, that's interesting. Using the traction systems in the car, downhill assist. Useful. That's not a bad thing at all. Definitely a good idea with an automatic gearbox. All right. And reverse camera with the Wagoner only. And it's unbelievable. They've introduced another color, but only to the wagon. And it's black. The Wagoner's going to look good in black. And that is why I have done what I have done. So that those of you who point fingers and call me a Toyota fanboy, you're missing a lot of my videos. Because I actually have a go at Toyota probably more than any other single manufacturer. Why? Well, I use more of their products than any other single motoring manufacturer. That's why I have a go at them. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape or form. LED headlamps. Now the LED headlamps is a very, very good idea because the current headlamps on the Landcruiser are like what I like to say is, okay. They're below standard, so hopefully that's a good thing. And additional USB, and they've removed the ashtray. Smokers, tough titties for you smokers out there. I've actually replaced my ashtray with an extra switch panel, which actually turned out to be extremely useful. And they've removed the satellite antenna and antenna. They've removed sat-nav. There's no sat-nav. So there's no sat-nav in the new information system. Okay, that's ambiguous. No pricing as yet. So when I went into the dealership, I said, okay, well, how much is it going to cost? And they said, we don't know. Delivery is actually sooner than, well, this is for September 23 production. So apparently there's a different production line for the new model. And all of those many people, and I have heard, don't quote me necessarily on this, over 30,000 orders for the 70 series that I've still not delivered. So but I'm not in any hurry to get the new one. So when it arrives, it arrives. Many of you will be asking, will I be selling this? Yes, I will. I'll sell it after I take delivery of the new one, not before. So those of you, anybody interested in purchasing it, you can go onto my website and you can express your interest on using the contact page. The contact page, just as a note, I get many people wanting to ask me questions about four-wheel drives and things like that, and that's not possible for me to answer them all. So I use Overland Workshop to do that for me. So that's not the place to ask me questions. Please don't ask me questions, because somebody else monitors that mailbox and then sends me the ones that they think that I should and need to read. So if you're interested in purchasing the vehicle, I will sell it for a fair market price, okay? Because the funds will go towards building the new one. That's what's going to happen. So if you're interested, let me know.